Everywhere we go, we are your church.
Hello, welcome to Home Church Resource. My name is David. This video that you're watching right now happens to be the first teaching video that was put on the Home Church Resource site. And it deals with a subject that I'm sure many of you have heard many times, but it's not talked about very often. And that subject is judging one another. How many times have you heard, "Do not judge lest you be judged"? Well, that comes from Matthew 7, verse 1. And what it exactly says is that. It says, "Do not judge lest you be judged, for how you judge one another is how you will be judged yourself," the standard with which you judge. And so people have taken that to mean that we can't say anything about anything to anybody. And that clearly doesn't make sense if you look at Scripture as a whole. So what does that mean? Are we supposed to judge one another? Well, the answer is very clear. And the answer is no. We are not supposed to judge one another. Jesus even said in John 12, verses 46 through 50, he said, "I did not come to judge." And he's the Son of God. So if he did not come to judge, clearly, how could we judge one another? And where this comes from is that in order to be a judge, there's something that goes with that, hand in hand, and that is sentencing. To judge somebody, you must also sentence them. Clearly, we cannot sentence somebody to death or to hell or condemnation or whatever you choose to call it. We do not have the authority to do that. So since we cannot sentence somebody, how can we judge them? We can't. So what does that mean? Let's go on to see the rest of that passage of Scripture. Jesus goes on to say that while you're looking at the speck in your brother's eye, do you not clearly see the plank or the beam that's in your own eye? And then he goes on further to say, focus on removing the beam that's in your eye so that you can clearly see and help remove the speck that's in your brother's eye. So what does that mean? How do we remove the speck in our brother's eye without judging him? Well, if we all have a clear understanding of what judging someone means, then it's not a problem at all. And that's what this site is about. There's going to be teaching on this site that some people will take as judging them, but make no mistake, there is no intent of judging you. I or anybody on the site has no intention or desire or purpose to judge you. It is not our role. However, it's not going to keep us from speaking the truth. And in speaking the truth, if you have two believers who both love one another, as Jesus loved the church and loved one another, and they love God, clearly we can talk about subjects where we are pursuing truth. Because if the ultimate goal is truth, it's not about our own individual agenda or purpose or something like that. If our goal is to find truth, we should be able to discuss those things without anyone feeling like they're being judged. Because clearly, if you are on the godly side, if you will, or the right side of truth, you're not going to feel judged. If I told you the sky was green, and I was telling you the sky is green, and if you don't believe me, you're going to go to hell, you would think I was a nutcase because the sky is clearly blue. So we need to understand that speaking truth is not a sin. And speaking truth in love is biblical. And we need to do that. And on this site and in your groups and in your home churches, you need to be able to speak truth to one another in love. It's crucial for us learning how to become like Christ, and it's crucial for making disciples. So I encourage your comments on this subject because it's a very interesting subject. And there may be more teachings to come in the future on this. But I just wanted to kind of set a foundation right now for the site that we are not judging you. It's not our responsibility to judge you. But someday you will stand before God. I will stand before God. And we will all be judged. That's it. I want to thank you for taking the time to see this. Once again, leave your comments. I'd love to know what you think about this, whether you think that I'm right or wrong, on the money or off the mark. Be sure and leave comments. And also remember that this site would not exist without your gifts. So please consider giving to the site. Take care.
Your people. Everywhere we go, we are your church.